When you watched The Evil Dead Rise after years, what were your thoughts? Certainly it was way better in visuals than the original ones. Now, if a better version with more visually chilling elements comes in, won't that be a hit? And that's exactly why the Evil Dead spin-off might be your cup of tea. The new movie announcement came with some exciting news. The folks who started it all, Sam Raimi and Robert Tappert, are back to produce. We have got a fresh face in the director's chair, Sebastian Vanisek. They're teaming up to bring us something special. Who's behind the new Evil Dead spin-off? Just like the last Evil Dead movies, the same clever people are producing this new spin-off. They sure know how to give us a good scare. Sam Raimi and his creative buddy Robert Tappert are teaming up again to produce the new spin-off, but here's the twist. Sam won't be directing this time around. Instead of Sam, Sebastian Vanisek is taking charge of directing. He's the one who directed the scary movie Vermin last year, and it even made its way to the Venice Film Festival. The Evil Dead series has taken us on many wild rides over the years, but right now, we're in the dark about what the spin-off story will be. But every movie in the series has certain stuff you can count on, like loads of blood, plenty of scares, and maybe even a limb or two getting chopped off. Since this new movie is called a spin-off, it's probably not going to continue right after Evil Dead Rise. Instead, it'll likely spin us a whole new scary story. Remember Bruce Campbell's quick appearance in Evil Dead Rise? Well, it's doubtful he'll come back as Ash Williams full-time, but you never know, he might just pop up for another cameo. In Evil Dead Rise, fans saw something new, the Deadites causing chaos among regular people, not just in Ash vs. Evil Dead's funny world. The next movie will likely keep up that trend. The Evil Dead spin-off might explore some fresh territory, but it's hard to guess exactly where that might be. The director, Sebastian Vanisek, who's in charge of the new Evil Dead spin-off, says he wants to pay tribute to Sam Raimi's original movies and gives us loads of scary deadites to freak about. So, Sam Raimi kicked off the franchise back in 1981 with the spooky movie The Evil Dead, where he wrote and directed it, and it did so well that it led to 2 more sequels. The latest one we got was in 2023 called Evil Dead Rise, and people really liked it. Now they've just told us that Vanisek will be directing the 6th movie and Raimi will be back to produce it. In a chat with comicbook.com, Vanisek talked about his goals for the Evil Dead spin-off and how he really wants to honor Raimi's awesome movies. He talked about wanting to have really cool characters and make a big impact with the movie so that everyone loves it. And of course, he's excited about bringing lots of Deadites into the mix. Will the new Evil Dead movie be a hit and do justice to the original? We're still in the dark about what's coming up in the next Evil Dead movie. Raimi's first Evil Dead movie was low budget and had a real gritty vibe to it. But as the franchise got more popular, they had more money and studio input, so they had to make movies that appeal to a bigger crowd. This is something Vanisek will have to deal with, but having Raimi as a producer will help a lot. The newer Evil Dead movies are scarier compared to Raimi's trilogy, which had some funny bits. Vanisek might want to go back to that style while also making a smart and scary horror flick. We're not sure what the new spin-off story will be yet, but there are a couple of paths it could follow. But since it's a spin-off, it probably won't start right where Evil Dead Rise left off. This is something to watch closely because the future of the Evil Dead series might depend on how well this next movie does at the theaters. So, Teresa and Jessica, along with Jessica's boyfriend Caleb, are chilling at a cabin by the lake. Suddenly, Jessica, who seems sick, does something crazy. She scalps Teresa, chops off Caleb's head, and then starts floating above the lake. So the day before, Beth, who's feeling upset about finding out she's pregnant, goes to visit her sister Ellie. Ellie lives in a rundown apartment building in Los Angeles with her teenage kids Danny and Bridget and her little one Cassie. During an earthquake, the building shakes while the kids are down in the basement parking lot and they find a hidden room.
Anything? The network is totally screwed.
Danny checks it out and finds some old religious stuff, 3 old records from 1923 and a weird book. He thinks he might sell the book to help out Ellie, so he takes it up to his room. The first record talks about a priest trying to study the book but getting turned down. Turns out, the book is one of the 3 volumes of the Naturam di Monto. The next record tells us that the priest kept on studying the book in secret. He even said some special words that brought out these creepy demon things called Deadites. The power in the building goes out, and something takes over Ellie. She comes back to the apartment like she's in a daze, scaring her family and saying scary stuff. Then she asks Beth to keep her kids safe, and sadly, she passes away. Ellie's neighbors put her to rest in the room and try to find a way out, but they run into some trouble. The stairs are broken, the elevator's busted, and they can't get the fire escape. Just when they think things can get worse, Ellie wakes up and attacks, hurting Beth and Bridget. Bridget starts attacking Beth, but then she goes after Danny and Cassie. But by accident, Cassie stabs her in the head with a broken broom handle. Beth listens to the third record to figure out how to get rid of the Deadites, but she finds out the priest didn't succeed and his friends all got taken over. The only way to stop the Deadites for good is to completely destroy the person they're in. Bridget comes back to life and stabs Danny, but before he dies, he sets Bridget on fire. Meanwhile, Ellie sneaks into the apartment through the vents. When Ellie finds out Beth is pregnant, she tries to hurt her baby, but Beth and Cassie manage to stop her by using scissors. Ellie tries to mess with Cassie's feelings, but Cassie realizes her mom is already lost. Danny and the neighbors' bodies get taken over by the bad guys, so Beth and Cassie hide out in the broken elevator. Ellie, Bridget, and Danny turn into a big monster with lots of arms called a Marauder. They climb onto the elevator to attack Beth and Cassie while the elevator fills up with blood. The elevator gets so heavy with all of them on it that it falls down to the ground floor. Beth and Cassie use the chance to run out into the parking lot. The Marauder grabs Cassie and tries to cut off her head with a chainsaw, but Beth comes back and gets its attention, while she and Cassie defeated by pushing into a wood chipper. Ellie's head talks trash to Beth, saying she'll be a bad mom. Beth gets fed up and kicks Ellie's head into the wood chipper.
Please. Help me, Betty Boop.
Then Beth and Cassie leave the building together. The next morning, Jessica heads to the parking lot to leave for a vacation, but something attacks her out of nowhere. The director of the new Evil Dead spin-off movie, Sebastian Vanisek, says he's just starting to write the story. He hints that the horror movie will have a big impact. He's also keeping in mind the work of past directors who've worked on the Evil Dead series, like the creator, Sam Raimi. Back in 2013, we got Fede Alvarez's version of the first Evil Dead, and then 10 years later, Lee Cronin's spin-off Evil Dead Rise came out. It featured Alyssa Sutherland from Vikings as the new Deadite host, and now it's Vanisek's turn to take a swing at it. The horror director added, "I also appreciate Fede Alvarez's approach, like in 2013 when he said, 'Let's make an Evil Dead movie, but let's make it more real.'" The director went on, "I want to do something that respects both of these approaches." They announced the new spin-off earlier this year, under Raimi and Robert Tappert's Ghost House Pictures. At the moment, they haven't told us what the story or the cast will be, but if Vanisek really combines the best parts of the old movies, we're excited to see what he comes up with. Vanisek's Evil Dead spin-off doesn't have its release date yet, but you can watch Evil Dead and Evil Dead Rise on Netflix right now.
She's trying to take your mommy away from you, Cassie.
I know you're not my mom anymore.
So did you like the movie? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Until next time, see you all.